Last time out, we had taken on Elka's Lords and beat them 4-1. We weren't top of the table going into the first international break, but we had made some sales and we were looking good to do well in other competitions. So, what's happened since we last met? And why have I come back for October again? What have we won this time? The first game we had since we came back was a 1-0 victory over Lech Poznan. We were good, and admittedly they had no shots on target, which really helps our point of view, but we only have 3 shots on target ourselves, so it wasn't plain sailing, and perhaps we should have done better in the long run. When I say we should have done better, I mean we should have won by more than 1 goal, but that's just me being honest and saying how I feel about it. We then went to Roma in the Champions League phase and drew 0-0, despite their manager saying that we should be an easy game, that they should be winning. I'll tell you here and now, I don't think that's the case anymore. I think we've done quite well here. And in fact, we probably should have won the game. We actually had the best chance of the game in the second half of the match, and it was here which we honestly should have scored. It was such a good chance that if my player hadn't just tried to chip the keeper and it went straight to the keeper's hands, we could have potentially been 1-0 up and winning this match, but we got a point at Roma in Rome. So, as far as I'm concerned, this is a win, even if they'll claim that we got lucky to even get a draw. They had 9 calls, I did nothing with them, so I don't think they can talk. Katowice Corset was our next opponent. We beat them by 4-1. It was a comfortable victory. Davidovitz got a brace, and we're looking good again. So as long as we're winning these games comfortably in the league, we should be doing well. And that was despite the fact we were 1-0 down inside 11 minutes, so it could have been better, but it also could have been worse. I will say they did do quite well to get their 2 shots on target, but given how bad some of our opponents have been this year, that's the achievement at this point, isn't it? Podbeski's was our next opponent, and we won by 3-0. It could have, and perhaps should have been 4. Davidovitz should have had a hat-trick because he missed a penalty in this game, so that's a thing. He tried to Panenka a penalty, the keeper read it perfectly and saved it, so it could have been better. It was very comfortable with away though, so as far as I'm concerned, a nice victory to say the least. We then took on Kindia Taragoiste, and we were very good. This is a team that lost 7-0 at home to Arsenal, so they weren't in good form. I will say the fact that we let them make it 2-1 in the 55th minute of the game was not ideal, and actually it was a very good shot, but we should have done better, and we made up for it by scoring 2 more goals later on. And Davidovitz got a hat-trick of the Champions League, which is not often I can say that about one of my players, but I'm happy. Yes, we gave them too many opportunities to score, but we still won comfortably, and it was a very good match from our point of view in the Champions League. Hoynichanka was our next opponent, and it was our last game we had before the awards came in. We won this game by 3-0. It was a nice match, and a victory I was happy with because it gave us an opportunity to continue our winning streak in the league and to continue thriving in all competitions. But the question is, where does this now leave us in the league? Well, despite our bad start to the year, by our standards, we're now top on goal difference. 4 points split of Wisla Krakow and Gunit Zabzir. Pagon Swetsin are really good this year, so that's a promising sign, and we're looking quite good. If we could avoid losing these games, that'd be great. Davidovitz is top goal scorer now in the league with 14 goals, but they have got a player themselves in Jan Becerra, so that's a bit annoying. I probably said his last name wrong, but he's got 13 goals this year. We've got a player with 14 goals, and we're only top by goal difference. So I think that says it all, doesn't it, really? So we're looking good. We just need to do better. As for the Champions League, we're currently down in 10th, though we have played a game less than AC Milan, who have lost a match. They won their first two, but then lost. So we've got opportunity to do good things here, I think. I really do. Roma lost their next game after they drew against us because they lost 3-0 to PSG, because PSG is actually quite good, it has to be said. But still, we're looking okay. We should be in a good position to do well later on in the tournament, but it's good to say the least. Given we've got Dynamo Kiev next and then PSG afterwards, we've got one game that we should be winning, one game we should be losing. Then we've got Shakhtar and Wolfsburg, then Inter and Arsenal. So if we can get a result against Dynamo and Shakhtar and Wolfsburg, yes, I'm counting Wolfsburg as an opportunity here, even if they won their first 2 games against teams that aren't particularly very good. No offense to Galatasaray or Maccabi Tel Aviv, but you should be losing to Wolfsburg, let's be honest. If we win our games that we should be winning, and those 3 matches, we should be comfortable, and we should be looking like a team that will 100% get into the top 24 this year. If we do well against PSG, Inter and Arsenal, that's an added bonus. Inter not had the best of starts. They've lost to Arsenal 1-0. They've drawn against Lyon. Is that a bad thing? Lyon are down there. So maybe it is, but they got beaten 4-0 by Bayern Munich, who are a good team. So maybe it's not a bad thing. But yeah, PSG were beaten by Bayern Munich 3-0, who are in really good form. And they've been Roma 3-0. So we've got an opportunity to do good things here. And I'm now going to look at the other teams in Europe so far for us. Europa League, it's not been that good. Jagiellonian have lost both games so far. They've lost to Rennes and Club Brugge. I was not expecting to get points against any of those 2 teams because Rennes are really good in the save. They've got a tycoon owner who might still be funding them. Club Brugge are also Club Brugge, and they've won their first 2 games. Whereas Lech Poznan lost 4-0 to RB Leipzig, but only drew 1 against Besiktas, which is not great. But they've also played 3 times Besiktas and drawn all 3 of them, so maybe that's not as bad as I'm making out to be. Why they're playing an extra game, I don't know. The Europa Conference League, just the 1 game so far. It's not been amazing, to say the least. Poker and Swetzin were beaten. They lost by a goal to 0 against the Swedish team guys, who are stupidly good every single time. I swear, I don't know why. Whereas Cracovia drew. They drew against Luzern, so should I be annoyed by that? I feel like I should be annoyed, but I can't bring myself to be annoyed by that. But yeah, top 24 again gets into the competition. So Cracovia are qualifying right now as things stand. One of the 22 teams to have got a point so far. Rapagona not qualifying at all. Jagiellonia and Lech Poznan both need to improve if they're going to qualify for the Europa League. So there's that. But the reason we're back is for these 2 awards. I say 2 because while this was expected for Ernest to be in the top 3 of the FIFA Best Under-21s Men's Player Award, because it's the 3rd time we've had a player in this award so far, Kimmich, Davidovic, and now Kukusuk. That's 3 players who are really good, by the way, and are doing good things for us. The award I wasn't expecting was the World Golden Glove, and for Michal Novak to be 2nd. How has Michal Novak gotten 2nd? That's the question here. This is a big deal because, you know, when we look at early days, these are the people who have won the award, who are competing for the award every single year. Somehow, Michal Novak has gotten his name in the same list as these players. And to be on the same list as most of these players is quite outstanding. So, quite frankly, this is an achievement that I was not prepared for, and I'm delighted has happened, because it now tells me that we produced one of the best goalkeepers in the world. It also tells me that we might have to worry about losing him at some point in the future. But that's another time for another day. I'm also here to show you about the finances. 144 million in the bank. We're looking really good. I'm also about to try and negotiate this deal, so let's get this here. And let's try and get the youngsters here. So that should be that. And they agreed to it. So now let's look at what this does for us. This now means we get a benefit for the youth setup. So we're now potentially getting players from Japan, South Korea, and Australia in our youth intakes. Whether they're good or not, I don't know, but I'll take it either way. We could also try and get a new affiliate as well. So let's try that as well while we're here. Can we do more? Let's do another international partnership. Again, they're happy with this. And these are the teams we can go for now. And I know that some of the teams you're thinking, they're not very good. Why are you even bothered with this? I want to make as much money as possible, and this is a great way for me to do so. I'm also good at the facilities as well, because all the money they're making at the affiliates facilities is always important to me now. And I want to go for someone in China, because we've got South Korea, we've got Japan, we've got Australia. China's the next option, surely. Unless we were to, for some reason, decide to go for the US side of things, which I don't feel like is the right option right now, despite the fact we could potentially go US. It's just not as appealing to me right now when we can get bigger fish to fry in the future, potentially. I think we're going to go for this team most because their facilities are actually decent. And while they're not amazing, it's still good for us either way. So long term, we're going to go for this team. And immediately, they've agreed with it. So we got merchandise seal, and we'll potentially be able to get some players from China later on down the line. And they're not terrible either, so it's not like it's a hugely bad team, but whether or not we go for it, I don't know. But what I'm going to do is end this here. I hope you guys have enjoyed yourselves. I hope you guys will like and share this video, and that you'll subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a lot. But anyway, until next time, goodbye, and well, good night.